Hello again, and welcome back to Japan. This is round 3 of the Japanese Super Touring Championship, and for the first time, the franchise is heading to a city. Yes, we've been to Bathurst and the sort of temporary venue around the mountain, but this is a bit more special. We are Tokyo Central, or this is Tokyo South Expressway, which has been sectioned off specifically for racing. Adrian Michael Rees here, and alongside me, Michael Swinnerton. Before we get into this, you can see the qualifying order there. This is Swinny. This is kind of what we expected the grid order or the sort of performance order to be in since the start. The Mercedes are in the top 10. The Toyotas are where we always expected them to be because the mammoth effort the Toyota have put into this car should have got them 1-2 practically every single race, but obviously other teams have had a say. Honda in there, Mazda definitely in there, and some of the surprise privateers since then. There's a lot riding on this race, in fairness, and I'm kind of cannot wait to get it going. Sonny, what do you reckon?
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like that normality is slowly becoming is slowly getting restored here regarding works cars and privateers.
I guess the experience in motorsport in general has led to this grid order, but we'll have to see what happens for round 4. Front wheel drive being suffered from all the four-wheel drivers, the Toyotas, the Mercedes. Those Mazdas are already swamping. Jack Scaife's back down to 6th, and there goes the Subarus as well. One of the slower corners, but not one of the slowest corners. That's approaching. Turn 1 exit. Here's a slight piff path of 2 and 3. A lot of Armco here, a lot of safety work. A lot of office space as well, where the spectators are getting some good vantage points. And now, very fast area downhill into one of the tightest, if not the tightest turns in touring cars. Nice wide approach, but I don't think there's going to be multiple lines through here. And it's also our pit lane. We're not expecting any tyre stops here. And foot to the floor. Here's Expressway 1. Tunnels, archways, very fast for touring cars, Swinny.
Yeah, absolutely. And that hairpin, I feel like, is going to provide some overtaking because it's a heavy braking zone into a wide hairpin. There is runoff room all around it. But at the same time, if you get a good run out of that hairpin, you could easily take it too wide all the way through this tunnel and up to this corner here.
And Toyota setting this all out as Butcher is defending from Narusai. You've got Schumacher and Katayama having a bit of a battle. Lotterer with a good start from 8th. Here is the second strongest braking point on the track. A very tight chicane with some curbs to boot. Might get some good overtaking or acceleration overtakes out of that final turn. Start finish straight. I'm wearing one of those office blocks right there. See the racing. Lap 1 complete.
Yeah, it's a very fast circuit with only a few slow areas, so momentum is going to be key around here as we see Katayama had
with a bit of wobble on.
Schumacher back up to 3rd. This is exactly what Mercedes need after a very, very lackluster start to the season with just abysmal results in rounds 1 and 2.
The sore thumb of the championship. We didn't expect Mercedes to be here at all, but obviously a very welcome inclusion, especially if they keep this up. Honda 7th and 8th, doing the best for front-wheel drive that they can. Subaru, what appear to be 9th and 10th. There's the second of the Mazdas, trying to get past Lotterer, Pitsonia. Scaife and Suzuki, though, very strong showing. And now back down this Expressway 1. Some of the shots we just saw there looked like they were straight out of an action film. The tunnels, the lights, the fast movement of the cars. One of the best views I've seen in touring cars so far.
Yeah, people normally like to bemoan city circuit racing or street. What would you call this? A street circuit?
It's a awkward one because it's in a city, but these are out and out highways. To be fair, this is like the closest equivalent I can think of would be something on the M25.
Oh, God.
which doesn't bear thinking about in the best of times at 70 miles an hour, let alone anything 100 plus as they go through the chicane once more.
I'd love to see the DVLA's results after that with all the speed cameras.
And of course, there are speed cameras here. We might be borrowing a couple of them for this footage right now. We'll have to tell you when we see them. And there's one of the Genesi. Not a good start, but you know, as far as the performance of the whole championship is concerned, this is kind of where we expected them to be, if a little bit higher than that. Good all-round performance from Winterbottom.
Yeah,
they 9th in the championship.
They didn't really quite hit the setup in qualifying. Plus, this car is I mean, it's one of the biggest ones on the grid, and I think that's probably going to be working against them here, where having a lighter, nimbly-pimbly car is going to be a little bit better for you. As we see Suzuki sticking down the inside of Lotterer at the hairpin. Is he going to be able to make that move stick, or is Lotterer going to be able to get the momentum coming out the corner? Lotterer makes it stick. Suzuki's going to have to find another way past somehow.
Skiff up to 6th, and if you spotted a glimpse of the Mitsubishi there, I think that one is our boy Ingram, and there's Fujiwara, and that's a Honda, which we give it's doing the best it can, but 12th is actually quite impressive for what was effectively the oldest car in the grid.
Yeah, had a very impressive qualifying effort. They were very happy with what they had. They've got a very good chance of getting some championship points this time round.
And they're in the points. There's Ingram behind them. Ingram was threatening a 10th place position earlier on, but been swamped by one of the Subarus. It's about to be swamped by that Golf of Degrassi as well, another older car.
He had another look at... I think Fujiwara's just holding him up slightly, and Ingram's getting a bit impatient, because, yeah, there goes the Golf. That's exactly what he didn't want in this situation.
Alan Frenson was last in that BMW, but clinging on to like 18th or 19th place as well, back to 19th. Still a bit of a high-speed traffic jam. Nakajima last. We've seen better from that car, just like the Genesis right there of Mutsu. Perhaps not found the setup.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it goes to show. If you look at all the cars back here, they are all the bigger, longer four-door saloon cars in this championship, rather than the hatchbacks, which are leading the way currently.
And as far as fastest laps are concerned, it is on to third flying lap, lap 4. Pitsonia in that Mazda, chasing down Katayama. They're up to 3rd and 4th. The Mercedes start to slip back. Mazda definitely with a certain amount of power there. Not as powerful as the Toyotas, no doubt.
We've got a lot of formation flying going on right now. It's Toyota, Mazda, and then Mercedes, Honda.
Touring car pedigree all round.
Mazda Civil War here, going into the chicane. Who's going to come out on top? Lots of bouncing over the curbs, but that is a swap between the two Mazdas. So Pitsonia now on the podium, Katayama back to 4th.
Katayama thankfully avoiding the curbs there. The curbs similar to the chicane we used to see in Catalonia.
And among other places, it reminds me of chicanes that you used to get in Monza, and similar to places in Imola, yes. And you know, definitely. Even the chicane at Sugo, that's at the top of the hill halfway around the lap.
Funnily enough, they did rope in the designer of Sugo to advise. Maybe give them a call to borrow the curbs. So Suzuki back down to 8th. Winterbottom still looks to be comfortable with that sort of 9th place. He's in the championship, but replicating it on track. Decent gap behind to Rostad Subaru. Suzuki down the inside, so yeah. Swinney called it. It will be an overtake haven there. High speed down to low speed and back up to high speed again.
Yeah, Suzuki seems to be a bit better on the brakes than the Mercedes in front of him, which allows him to get up to the inside at the hairpin, but can't quite keep the momentum going to make it stick on corner exit, whereas the Mercedes can then use its four-wheel drive system. That was Winterbottom having a look through the tunnel.
Apart from the obvious, the sort of pattern that those flying turns are taking sort of resembles, and almost this bit to a degree, if a little bit faster, the run-up to the carousel at the Nordschleife. Flying lefts and rights, dare you lift, dare you not, and then, you know, hard braking.
Yeah, you're just
And
swapping the
German
trees out
drivers-
for concrete, aren't you?
Concrete,
I
yeah.
can see where you're coming from with that. Scaife
that
having
might
a look
explain
on
why
Schumacher. He's going to the outside. I don't know if that's going to work going into turn one, because Schumacher's going to have the preferred line.
Stranger things have happened, and that looks like to be a spectacular move if it pays
Nearly.
off, especially if you had to cling onto the shirt tails, as in that sort of rear left corner of Schumacher's car, but didn't pull off. Suzuki now closing down on that battle.
Yeah, while
Wide a
Scaife
little
didn't
bit
make
there.
it stick, Suzuki did on Lotterer behind. We just as we were looking at the other battle.
Pitsonia still with the fastest lap, but those Toyotas are just gone, as we kind of predicted they would from race one. But like I mentioned, now this is where they get to claw some of those points back.
Yeah, they
Especially
had a completely
from the,
torrid time at Yamagima, so they will be very eager to get as many points as possible round here to try and reclose that distance on their other manufacturers.
And especially from Kazuki Ide, in that Crown Athlete who currently leads the championship. Obviously that's going to change for race 2 around here, because that's where he is right now.
Outside the points.
And a Frenson herring down.
And we're going
Not
3
close
wide
enough
up in front of them.
High-speed traffic jam for the duration.
Ingram's still stuck behind these front-wheel drive cars, even though I think he's faster, though he's just let a whole train go past him by the looks of things. No, hangs it tough on the outside, keeps the momentum going.
These, the word friendly, I might be exaggerating there, as Fujiwara.
I mean, if you're going to put a curb like that on a track like this, you can't not smack it a couple of times. And here he goes with a run on Degrassi in the Golf, also on the outside, going to hang it tough again.
Mitsubishi Power probably got it for the braking area. Brace yourself.
Oh, he's got
Yes,
the
it has.
stability around the corner. Look at that.
And there's the two athletes side by side as well.
Yeah, Muto having to fight off both cars at once here.
Into the second half of the race, it's still glorious sunshine here. I'm still precariously keeping an eye on the radar. Nothing yet. And still might not be, even if it was raining, I think some of these places are well covered, as you can see. Bit of a tunnel here. Pitsonia on his lonesome as well needs to close it. Well, Katayama's there too with a bit of slipstream. Maybe that Mercedes as well, but I think we know that it's a battle for third on down. But the battle for the lead is down to Toyota's say-so, I think, because Narosai is very close to Butcher on track as they go through the chicane right now. Suzuki and Scaife having their own personal battle as well, with the Mercedes as a 5th place hors d'oeuvre, if ever that's a thing in Japan.
Well, it is now.
It is now.
Yeah, I think both Toyota and Mazda are just doing some formation flying at the minute. They're probably happy. Oh, Toyota are definitely happy with where they are, but Mazda will probably be happy with the 3rd and 4th as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if you know, picked car radios are saying just, you know, hold position, you know, look after your tyres and what have you for now. We don't want to go doing anything rash because you don't want to get caught up in this Mercedes versus Honda battle.
33% of the race left to go. Narusai was holding the fastest lap, but I jumped the gun there because nobody else had finished that lap yet. Ingram now getting their finger out, probably still balked by the majority of the minor points places.
Smashed in a 45.5 out of nowhere now that he's past the traffic in front, and as I was
hairpin
saying
braking
about them
area.
formation flying, they've suddenly caught Katayama and she's getting run out onto the outside. Schumacher back to 4th. And there goes Scaife through. And here comes Suzuki as well. Maybe, maybe not.
Don't
There
be
he
too
is.
generous.
God, poor old Keiko.
Keiko down to 7th.
She went from 4th to 7th in one fell swoop there. I'm not sure what happened to allow the chasing cars to close that gap and then immediately pass her as well.
No more dramatic a drop than 8th if Lotterer gets his way into the braking area here. Lift off and slight dab. Very fast corner uphill, then back down again.
Yeah, you have to be careful with that corner because it does tighten up halfway through. So it's very easy to carry too much speed going into the corner, thinking you're going to stick, and suddenly you're faced with a wall coming at you at a bleak angle.
Winterbottom still 9th, being a bit of a thorn in the side of the 2 Subaru behind him. Takahashi and Mustad. That's the first time we've seen them in anger. So in anger is Ingram, back up to 12th by getting 11th and another fastest lap, perhaps. No,
not fastest lap, but he's wasting 0 time moving back up through the order. Now he's free of the front-wheel drive cars that were in front of him. Plus, we now get to see this once classic battle of Subaru versus Mitsubishi all over again.
What other viewers might be noticing is we are seeing some of the trains in the background. Yes, they are parallel to the start-finish line, but it is a very safe spot for these cars because none of them are going to be taking each other out and flying into those overhead wires in this scenario. It's very much a saloon venue. The single-seaters deliberately were told not to visit with good reason.
Schumacher now closing on Pitsonia. We might even see a Mercedes on the podium before this is done. But Scaife is right there. He did get a good qualifying position. We know that Honda's quick. Scaife looks like he's got some late game speed going on here that he should be able to capitalise on.
And Suzuki as well, clinging on there. Braking out for chicane.
Very clean and tidy, avoiding the curves a little bit.
Lotterer bookending his top 8 as Winterbottom still very consistent for the Australian. Back in 9th.
Takahashi filling his rear view mirrors though, making sure he does not look forwards. Into turn 1.
And that clunking here is definitely the highway. It is highway for a reason because it is above, well above any ground or sea level of Tokyo city centre. All concrete. Here's ground level, perhaps.
Scaife having another look at Schumacher into the hairpin.
That might have been
cheeky, but he's not going to have the momentum on the outside again.
Did we see a puff of smoke, or was that brake smoke, perhaps?
Oh, couldn't tell you.
Meanwhile, attached at the hip, Butcher and Narasai still your 1-2.
Yeah, nearly half a lap in front now. They have gone. They are in a different postcode now.
Pitsonia starting to pull away as well as we reach the final quarter.
Yeah, Scaife definitely has the faster car, I think, at this point. It's just finding a way past isn't quite easy. Ooh, as he says that.
That was a little bit dangerous. The move is definitely took place. That means Suzuki's going to capitalise if Schumacher's...
Suzuki got too much curb
distracted.
on entry there. It upset the balance of the car. It killed his momentum. But yeah, Scaife's move was good. It was a little bit if-gap car, but he managed to make it work and it was clean enough. Question is, can Scaife now use these last 2 laps to catch and pass Pitsonia to reclaim a podium position?
The sort of DNA of it was there a few laps ago. quick glimpse of the top 10 in a Genesis and a Subaru further behind. Here's Katayama, still clinging on to 7th, having fallen back from 4th. Suzuki with the potential move on
looks like he's going to do a
Schumacher.
dive. And there's Scaife on Pitsonia doing the same thing.
So it was
And made it stick.
if not when. Sorry, it was a when, not if.
Yes.
And now 3rd to 10th in a strand down Expressway 1.
Yeah, they're all right there, aren't they? Ingram just a little ways off. I think he's going to sit in 11th. Muto's managed to make his way up to 12th. Has got past Rustad.
And
Ide now in the back end of the points.
They'll be happy with that. And fighting valiant effort from the Fujiwara Yuasa Honda to be there or thereabouts in the most of underdogs, or the most dog of underdogs, maybe. Frenson and Nakajima. Well, Nakajima's even further back than this.
Yeah, I think that Mazda's possibly developed an issue or something, because that's a long way off the pace now.
3 seconds off Butcher leading, but Ingram still with the fastest lap by another 10th from Butcher. So formation fly-in. Some of the Toyota executive officers will be celebrating this. Maybe they don't even know what's happening in the first 2 rounds, because this is obviously a very good look for the four-wheel drive iteration of this car. It's not going to see the light of day in the Worlds, and thankfully Toyota have seen it through, and hopefully see this through to the end of the season. Much like E-Day has kept the Crown Athlete dream alive further back.
Yes, I believe as a little public relations gimmick, E-Day was acting as a taxi driver and using a taxi version of a Crown Athlete and giving people tours around the track earlier today before this happened.
And a nice little nest egg for future developments of that team. It is running on fumes, all things considered, and the fact that they're in the points again is celebration enough. But we've seen them do so much better, and we've seen Toyota do this good before. GR, Gazoo Racing are most definitely back, and Scaife with a fantastic run, all things considered, just not close enough to the four-wheel drives at the front. Pitsonia potentially could have been 3rd as well. Honda very happy, top 5. Katayama getting ahead of Schumacher in the end. Mercedes, that's probably the proudest they're going to be. Obviously they'll want to see up higher than that. Ingram didn't get top 10, but still good enough given the mess that he found himself in at the start. And there's the 2 chasers. 3 points all around. The Grassy was there, but that's a shame. Fujiwara 18th. It is still just suck it and see from the Yuasa team. They know what they're in for. As for the privateer, or the second-hand satellite Mazda effort there, not the best of days. And we're going to be waiting another 6 hours for the next race, because I believe the next one is under the floodlights. So for the franchise of Super Touring, a city race, but obviously a very good one, all things considered. Swinny.
Yeah, absolutely. I know people like to bemoan street racing as it's too narrow, you can't overtake this and that and the other, but I think this has proved that actually it can be just as exciting as a proper track.
I'm not too sure how much of a long-term effort this is. This is very much a one-off from our perspective. We'll just have to see what the franchise response is by the time Monday morning comes along and we've flown away from here. But yeah, we'll see you later. Good racing, everyone.